I've grouped this batch of DVDs into one review because, for the most part, there's one thing about them that they all have in common, and that is they are star-driven. Each of the DVDs in this review is something that you're only going to purchase if you happen to be a fan of the person involved, because each of these sets revolves around a specific actor. So first up, we have from BBC Video, the Steve Coogan Collection. This is a very impressive box set. Now, I'm a big fan of BBC in general, and I'm a big fan of their home video releases. This one is no exception. In the Steve Coogan Collection, you get the complete series of Knowing Me, Knowing You, which is the Alan Partridge show that kind of brought him to the forefront of fame in the British television circuit. Knowing Me, Knowing Yule, which is the holiday special from that show. I'm Alan Partridge, the continuation of that series. You also get Saxondale, Dr. Terrible's House of Horrible, Coogan's Run, Paul and Pauline Kaff's Video Diaries, Paul and Pauline Kaff's Cheese and Ham Sandwich, and the Tony Farino Phenomenon. Now, the thing about this box set is it's pretty much every BBC special or TV series that Steve Coogan has done. And if you like Steve Coogan, I don't imagine that you can find a better box set or a better release out there than this in any way, shape, or form. There really is nothing that is even going to come close to it. The thing about it is it's not all brilliant. You get a lot of good material, a lot of funny stuff. I'm partial to the Alan Partridge series especially. I find those to be pretty humorous, although the character himself can get kind of annoying on occasion. It's really fun to see him interact with celebrities and kind of play this clueless thing. It's sort of, in a way, similar to what Sacha Baron Cohen does with Borat and Bruno, only it's not insulting, it's not insipid, and it's not ridiculously stupid. Nor does it pretend to be real rather than staged, which is something that Sacha Baron Cohen, I think, does quite regularly. What you're going to find, though, is that when it misses, it misses. Not every show is as funny as the other one. So you're going to go through this and you're going to watch a lot of Steve Coogan-based comedy. Some of it's going to make you laugh quite a bit, and some of it's going to fall a little bit flat on its face. And that's okay. When you have this much material in one spot, not everything can be a winner, but just be aware that you're not necessarily going to have hours and hours and hours of shows you love. You'll probably have hours of shows you love mixed with a couple of hours of shows that you love a little bit less. So, my recommendations, definitely check out Knowing Me, Knowing You, and I'm Alan Partridge. Definitely check out Saxondale, and definitely check out Coogan's Run. As far as Paul and Pauline Kaff's Video Diaries and Ham and Cheese Sandwich and the Tony Farino Phenomenon, not my favorites. That's what I'm going to say about that. Overall, that's still more good than bad, but just giving you my 2 cents worth. In terms of extra features, there are about 4 hours worth of extras. Not that any of it is necessarily going to blow you away, but you do get a lot. Most of it's in the form of making-of featurettes. The extras from the Saxondale original releases are carried over, and then each of the series kind of has its own making-of featurettes. In addition, there are definitely some outtakes and deleted scenes, and then some random kind of goodies thrown in there for you as well. Again, if you're a Steve Coogan fan, this type of stuff is probably gold for you. But don't expect there to be any super exciting, in-depth, crazy featurettes that are going to just recreate the way you think about comedy or Steve Coogan. It's a great box set with some really good extra features and some really good television. But ultimately, with the price point involved, I can imagine that only the most diehard of Steve Coogan's fans are going to buy this. Unfortunately, most of those people probably reside in the UK rather than here in America, where most people probably only know him for a handful of movies, such as Hamlet 2. But if you are a fan, you can't go wrong with this really nice box set courtesy of BBC. Next up, we have a collection of 4 movie box sets from MGM, each of which focuses on a different star. Now, these sets run the gamut in terms of stars from Frank Sinatra to Reese Witherspoon to Jimmy Stewart to Gary Cooper and pretty much everybody in between. For the purposes of this review, the 3 box sets that I received are the Susan Sarandon collection, the Clint Eastwood collection, and the Robert Downey Jr. collection, which right there kind of shows you the breadth of scope that these collections involve. For the most part, they're pretty nice box sets. They're kind of nice for people who are casual movie fans, or, again, for people who are fans of the stars involved. If you happen to be a particularly big Robert Downey Jr. fan, or a Clint Eastwood fan, or Susan Sarandon fan, or any of the people involved, then these are worth picking up. But keep in mind, as with most actor-themed box sets, you're not getting a best of. You're getting a best of that is of the movies that is owned by MGM. So, in the case of Robert Downey Jr., for example, you get Back to School, in which he only plays a supporting role, Charlie Bartlett, which is actually an extremely good movie, and I recommend picking that up on its own, Home for the Holidays, which is more of an ensemble piece, and Richard III, in which case he does play a pretty major role. Still, that's kind of a wide scope of movies. I don't know that Charlie Bartlett fans are necessarily going to enjoy Richard III. I also don't know that Home for the Holidays fans are going to enjoy Back to School. By the same token, it is kind of nice to get a wide representation of his career in a bunch of different genres, so that if you are a Robert Downey Jr. fan, you kind of get a little bit of everything from his overall, rather than simply the movies in which he plays that kind of stock Robert Downey Jr. character, which granted he doesn't do very often because he is a pretty exceptional actor. In the Clint Eastwood collection, you get A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Hang 'em High. Now this, of course, is a much more themed collection in that these are all westerns. For the most part, you can't really go wrong with Clint Eastwood in a western, and these are some classics. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and For a Few Dollars More are really some of the films that defined his career. So this one's a little bit more cohesive than the Robert Downey Jr. set is, and any Eastwood fan would probably be interested in owning this, but all these movies have been released before. For the most part, it doesn't seem as if any of these box sets have films that aren't available anywhere else. On the one hand, that's nice. You don't have to buy a movie box set that includes other films you already have just to get one that you don't. But again, they really don't offer much up rather than a low price point for somebody who's casually interested in Frank Sinatra or Jimmy Stewart or Robert Downey Jr. The Susan Sarandon box set includes Igby Goes Down, which is a fairly good comedic dramedy, if you will, with Kieran Culkin. The January Man, in which Kevin Kline joins Sarandon, is kind of a thriller, which is a little bit of not a difference so much for Susan Sarandon, but a different role for Kevin Kline. Something Short of Paradise, one of her earlier roles, and Thelma and Louise, of course, which is the signature film in the box set, and probably the one that most people want to buy it for. But again, Thelma and Louise is available separately. So all in all, these are pretty interesting box sets. The low price point makes them a good purchase either as a gift or if you're just looking for some movies to watch on a weekend when you happen to be home and have nothing better to do. Finally, we have The Donna Reed Show, Season 3. And while fans of the show will be interested, obviously, I think the main reason I included this set into this review is the fact that if you're a fan of The Donna Reed Show, you are probably a fan of Donna Reed. It's been almost 50 years since the show is on the air, so I don't imagine there are a lot of casual fans out there. Either you love the show, you grew up watching it, you have fond memories of it, or somewhere along the lines you become a fan of that kind of classic Hollywood TV sitcom from back in that era, The Honeymooners, The Donna Reed Show, Leave It to Beaver, things like that. Either way, this is a great release for you. Of course, it includes the entirety of Season 3, which includes guest stars such as Harvey Korman, Dennis the Menace, Lassie, and singer Tony Martin. But, of course, the real bonus here is, well, the bonus features. In this case, you get a question and answer session with Donna's real-life daughter, Mary Owen, and her TV son, Paul Peterson. It was actually taped at a Barnes & Noble, which gives it a kind of a nice, intimate feel. There's a letter to Donna Reed from a soldier in World War II, which is an interesting piece of kind of trivia. There's a tribute to It's a Wonderful Life, and some rare, never-before-seen holiday greetings from the cast that followed the Someone Is Watching episode. So this set and the extra features are kind of a nice slice of classic Hollywood Americana. And if that's the kind of thing that you're into, then this is really a pretty good set. I love that these kinds of shows are getting released on DVD. These are the types of things we never would have seen on home video before the advent of DVD. So if you're a Donna Reed fan, you probably want to rush right out and pick this one up.